other stuff, some stuff that he think I don't know about, or he think he got one up on me. I don't know. He think he got a mole somewhere. I told him I got.
The boxing world is in shock as reports surface that Tank Davis has been placed in federal custody amid allegations of match fixing in his highly controversial bout against Lamont Roach Jr. The situation escalated quickly, with rumors of an investigation swirling just days before the latest developments took a more serious turn.
Hopefully the commission gets this right. It was a bummer not being declared the winner on a technicality that could be righted, that wrong could be righted, obviously, in different ways.
Controversy intensified when reports emerged suggesting that referee Steve Willis had shared critical information supporting claims of match manipulation. Fans and analysts had already been questioning the outcome, a majority draw as many believed Roach had done enough to secure the win. With federal authorities now involved, those lingering suspicions appear to have had solid ground.
I think Lamont Roach, I think he landed more punches throughout the fight. I think Tank was used to, figuring it out, having that slow start, figuring it out around the third, fourth round. And
From the moment the final bell rang, controversy erupted around the fight's result. Roach had clearly outworked Davis in multiple rounds, and many felt he had earned a decisive victory. But the 9th round changed everything and raised serious questions. Davis unexpectedly took a knee during the action, prompting referee Steve Willis to begin a count. Yet, midway through, Willis abruptly changed course, waved off the count, and ruled it wasn't a knockdown. That pivotal decision shifted the entire trajectory of the match. Had Willis scored it a knockdown, Roach would likely have won the round 10-8, potentially securing the victory on the scorecards. Instead, with the ruling in Davis's favor, the fight ended in a draw, leaving Roach stunned and fans outraged.
No. What's your thoughts when you first heard that?
That they wasn't gonna overturn it?
Yeah.
I mean, I expected that. I don't really see them doing that. Tank is too big of an attraction. New York. I felt like
Davis's explanation for taking a knee was, at best, unusual. He claimed that his freshly styled hair had been overloaded with grease, and when he started sweating, it dripped into his eyes, causing a burning sensation that forced him to kneel. Fans were quick to mock the excuse, calling it one of the most absurd justifications they'd ever heard from a fighter. Critics pointed out that boxers regularly deal with sweat and even blood in their eyes without dropping to a knee mid-fight. Roach, visibly frustrated after the bout, didn't hold back. "If you take a knee, that's a knockdown, that's just the rules. The ref started counting, so why did he stop? They stole this from me." Roach's team acted swiftly, filing an official complaint with the New York State Athletic Commission, demanding a full review of the fight and the referee's decision-making. But the controversy didn't end there, it only escalated.
He take a knee. You need to lose like 10-8 that round at least, no? And plus the corner go up and put a towel in the face. That's a disqualification for sure. I'm talking about.
What made the situation even more troubling was a chilling remark Davis allegedly made to Roach on fight night. "They ain't gonna give it to you." At the time, many dismissed the comment as a reference to the harsh realities of boxing politics, where the A-side fighter often gets the benefit of the doubt in close decisions. But in light of the match-fixing allegations, that statement now carries a far more sinister weight. Did Davis already know the outcome before the first bell rang? Was the result predetermined? These unsettling questions have become the catalyst for a full-scale federal investigation.
So to me, I thought I won the fight clearly. I thought I won a close fight. I thought I won a very competitive fight.
Okay.
I'm not saying I steamrolled him or whatever.
Federal authorities stepped in after Roach's legal team enlisted high-profile attorneys to push for a deeper investigation into the fights. The attorneys highlighted suspicious betting patterns in the lead-up to the match, with an unusually large amount of money placed on a draw, one of the rarest results in boxing. The sheer volume of bets raised immediate red flags, prompting investigators to explore whether insider information had been leaked to bettors who knew the result in advance. Then, the investigation took a dramatic turn, with the biggest revelation. Yet, referee Steve Willis had reportedly shared critical information with authorities.
It should have been a knockdown, one.
So that's why I'm yelling at the referee, like, keep counting. Like, you tripping. Keep counting. That's a knockdown. Because if y'all didn't notice, he started.
Although the full details of Willis's statement remain undisclosed, sources suggest he admitted to external influences affecting his decisions during the fight. That admission was enough for federal agents to take swift action against Davis. The arrest sent shockwaves through the boxing world, as Davis, no stranger to legal troubles, now faces what could be the most serious and career-threatening situation of his life.
He wasn't coming to lay down. I've been knowing Lamont since we was kids, so we came up in amateurs together. So I knew Lamont was serious. He was coming.
If the allegations are proven true, Davis could face more than just a suspension from boxing. He might be looking at criminal charges that carry serious prison time. Boxing insiders are already speculating on how this could impact his future. Some believe this scandal could mark the end of Davis's career, while others think his promotional team, led by Al Heyman and premier boxing champions, will fight tooth and nail to shield him and keep his career afloat. But even if he escapes legal consequences, the blow to his reputation might be permanent.
Like when my back is against the wall or against the ropes, it's like, it's time to show up. So it wasn't really hard for me to focus because all I had to do was...
Social media erupted with reactions as fighters and boxing personalities weighed in on the shocking news. Devin Haney, one of Davis's fiercest rivals, wasted no time taking shots, posting, "Damn, first he fakes injuries to duck fights, now he's fixing fights? Ain't no way y'all still rocking with this dude." Longtime Davis critic Oscar De La Hoya chimed in, tweeting, "I've been saying it for years, Tank is protected. The truth always comes out." Even veteran analyst Teddy Atlas, known for his blunt takes, called the situation a disgrace to the sport.
I'm still rooting with him. I saw all the negativity and people, critics talking, but I think he's one hell of a fighter, and I think he's still the top.
To make matters worse, Davis's name has already been stripped from several boxing rankings. Ring Magazine officially removed him from their pound-for-pound list, replacing him with David Benavidez. The backlash is hitting his career in real time, and if the investigation uncovers more evidence, the fallout could be even more severe. There's already speculation that the New York State Athletic Commission might revisit the fight's result and void it entirely, potentially declaring Roach the rightful winner. If that happens, Davis wouldn't just lose his status as one of boxing's top fighters. He could also be stripped of his championship belts, cementing the scandal as a devastating blow to his legacy.
They reversed the result of your fight.
Yeah.
Should they reverse the result of that fight as well?
Just depends. Like if that changes the whole fight, if that gives Roach a victory, give him the victory. That's how you keep the integrity of the sport, right? That's why they suspended me, right? To keep the integrity of the sport.
As Davis sits in remand awaiting his next legal hearing, the question now is whether he can fight his way out of this, or if this marks the end of his career. If federal investigators gather enough evidence to formally charge him with match fixing, Davis could be facing not just a lifetime ban from boxing, but actual prison time. Comparisons are already being made to past scandals, with some drawing parallels to allegations that Floyd Mayweather influenced judges and referees throughout his career. But while Mayweather never faced charges of this magnitude, Davis might not be as fortunate. If the allegations prove true, he could find himself at the center of the biggest scandal in modern boxing history, a fall from grace that could change the sport forever.
He caught me with a good shot, but it was times that I sat in there with him and I'm like, damn, this guy like super slow. Well, not super slow, but he's slow, and I could have took advantage of. I think I was boxing too much in the beginning. And when I feel
like Dante, Davis is in deeper trouble than anyone anticipated. And now the boxing world is divided. Can he stage a comeback, or is his career permanently tarnished? Rolly Romero, one of Davis's former opponents, believes there's hope for redemption in a potential rematch, though his comments stirred controversy. Speaking to The Ring, Romero said Davis has the skill to make adjustments and win a rematch, adding that Roach's performance was so unexpected that even Roach himself might not have seen it coming. That statement raised eyebrows. Was Romero suggesting Roach's success was just luck? Because if there's one thing fans and analysts agree on, it's that Roach was the better fighter that night. No luck. No fluke, just skill and determination.
He lost that fight. I mean, the only reason they gave you the fight was because you would make more money as a champion, but there's no way it's a draw, and they didn't call the knockdown. If they called a knockdown, you...
Roach outboxed Davis and likely would have won outright if not for the questionable officiating. But now, with Davis under federal investigation for match fixing, Romero's comments carry even more weight. His description of Roach's performance made it sound like a once-in-a-lifetime showing something Roach could never replicate. But was that really the case? Roach didn't just land a few lucky shots, he dominated large stretches of the fight, forced Davis out of his comfort zone, and exposed vulnerabilities that had never been fully tested before. Romero's attempt to downplay Roach's success might be more about protecting his own ego. After all, if Roach, a fighter never considered part of the sport's elite, could push Davis to the brink, what does that say about Romero, who was knocked out by Davis in the 6th round of their 2022 matchup?
That people want to discredit Tank, he's still a pound-for-pound fighter.
Yeah. What do you think about that fight that happened? You thought it was just an off night, or?
Everybody has an off night. Everybody has an off night. Shit, I had a night with Cruz.
Even more controversial was how Romero addressed the knee incident. None of the punches hit him, Romero said, referring to Davis's bizarre decision to kneel mid-fight. That statement is damning, especially considering Davis's claim that he went down because sweat dripped into his eyes. If another fighter, someone who understands what it's like to be in the ring, insists no punches landed, it raises an even bigger question. Why did Davis go down at all? And perhaps, more importantly, why did the referee start the count only to stop halfway through? Romero himself admitted that if the knee had been ruled a knockdown, Davis would have lost. That single moment didn't just shift momentum, it may have decided the entire outcome of the fight. But let's be honest.
Are being thrown, it has to be a knockdown. I've heard some people saying, oh, that, you know, he should be disqualified, he went back to the corner, I don't buy that, to be honest with you. I mean, I think that's a warning. But it's a bit of a bizarre situation. For me, like, there's a lot of people in boxing.
But Romero didn't say is just as revealing as what he did. He sidestepped the fact that Davis is now at the center of a federal investigation into fight-fixing allegations. He avoided mentioning Davis's chilling pre-fight comment to Roach, "They ain't going to give it to you," and he completely ignored the suspicious betting patterns on a draw, which many believe were far more than just coincidence. Instead, Romero leaned into the narrative that Davis simply had an off night and would bounce back with adjustments. But how can Davis even think about a rematch when he's potentially facing criminal charges? That's the real question hanging over the boxing world right now.
Hey, can't even see who it is. Hey, who is the dude? Who is the dude?
And that right there.
Brian Garcia, another former opponent of Davis, also weighed in on the rematch discussion. Speaking to ES News, Garcia predicted that Davis would win the second fight, suggesting that Tank just underestimated Roach and expected him to fold. But that statement raises an even bigger question. Why did Davis expect Roach to fold? The most likely explanation? He knew something the rest of us didn't. If Davis entered the fight believing the decision was already in his favor, it would explain his lack of urgency, his questionable preparation, and ultimately, his performance in the ring. Davis fought as if he had nothing to worry about. He didn't take Roach seriously, and when Roach kept pressing forward, Davis looked unprepared, almost lost. It was one of the worst performances of his career. Garcia's claim that Davis was simply caught off guard doesn't fully explain what happened that night.
Did you think it was a draw? No. I thought Lamont won. Who you thought won? Lamont.
You thought Lamont won? By how many rounds?
I don't know. You still want to take Davis fight?
What makes this situation even messier is the $250,000 side bet between Roach and Davis before the fight. Davis wagered that he'd knock Roach out, but when the fight ended in a draw, it's unclear whether he ever paid up. If he didn't, that adds yet another layer to the controversy. Davis was willing to bet 6 figures on a result that never materialized despite allegedly having inside knowledge of how the fight would end. That alone raises massive red flags. And if Davis genuinely believed he'd score a knockout, why did he fight with so little urgency? Why take a knee in the middle of the action? None of it adds up unless you start looking at the bigger picture and considering the possibility that the outcome may have been decided long before the first bell rang. The good news for Roach is that a rematch is already on the table, whether it happens in 2024 or 2025. Both sides have expressed interest in running it back, but the truth is, a rematch will only be fair if the corruption surrounding the first fight is fully brought to light. If Davis is found guilty of match fixing, how can anyone trust that a second fight would be any different? And more importantly, should Davis even be allowed to fight again if he deliberately manipulated the result of a professional bout? A lifetime ban would seem justified. The worst part of this entire scandal is the damage it's doing to boxing itself. The sport has long struggled with issues of bad judging, shady business dealings, and fights that take years to materialize. Now, with match-fixing allegations at the forefront, it's another blow to boxing's already fragile credibility.
We will never see that fight happen again. It just will not happen. Gervonta Tank Davis doesn't like hard fights. It's that simple. We've seen it over and over. He fought a Ryan Garcia drained. He fought a very inexperienced Rolly Romero. He will not fight Devin Haney. He will not fight Shakur. He will not fight Pitbull Cruz.
If one of the sport's biggest stars, Gervonta Davis, is caught up in a match-fixing scandal, it would be a devastating blow to boxing's already shaky credibility. Worse than the controversy around Floyd Mayweather's carefully chosen opponents or Canelo Alvarez's questionable scorecards, this is outright corruption. And if Davis is guilty, it signals a deeper issue in boxing that extends far beyond just one fighter. Meanwhile, Davis is still scrambling to control the damage. Despite being in remand, his team is working overtime to shift the narrative, pushing the idea that this is just another case of Davis being unfairly targeted. But let's be honest, Davis has been involved in too many controversies for this to just be bad luck. From past legal troubles to run-ins with the law, and now a federal investigation, it's starting to look like a pattern. And boxing fans are losing patience. Right now, Davis is fighting on two fronts, one in the courtroom and one in the court of public opinion.
I must say, thought enough.
Can you describe what the feeling was like in the ring? And was it to get the towel out, to get the burn out of your eyes, or what was going on? And
I didn't want to get caught. I didn't want to get caught while my eyes was burning. And you know, like, you can get knocked out like that. So I'd rather take the...
And right now, he's losing both battles. Even if Davis is released and the rematch happens, his reputation may be beyond repair. No matter what he does in the ring, there will always be an asterisk next to his name. And if he somehow wins the rematch, critics will just say it was another fix. Meanwhile, Lamont Roach Jr. may have been robbed in the first fight, but he's walked away with something even more valuable: the public's respect. Roach was the underdog, the fighter who wasn't supposed to win, but he stepped into the ring and exposed one of boxing's biggest stars. Now, no matter what happens in a rematch, people will remember the night Roach made Gervonta Davis look beatable.
You know it's time.
Can't wait.
You know it's time.
Can't wait. Can't wait.
You know it's time.
Can't wait.
You ready?
The rematch is nearly locked in, and this time the stakes are even higher. After their controversial first fight ended in a majority draw, Lamont Roach Jr.'s promoter, Gary Jonas, has confirmed that negotiations are almost finalized. While he didn't disclose all the details, Jonas confidently stated, "In my mind, it's a done deal, but there are formalities." That statement alone has set the boxing world on fire. Fans are eagerly awaiting an official announcement, but at this point, it seems inevitable. The rematch is happening.
Nah, to be honest, I've really made it competitive, for real, to be honest. But for sure, Lamont's a great fighter. He got the skills, like I said.
Jonas highlighted a crucial element that could shift the rematch's outcome: Davis's mentality. Gervonta's probably going to be upset, more alert, and laser-focused, Jonas noted. That's a stark contrast to where Davis's head was before the initial fight. He had been flirting with retirement, acting like he had nothing left to prove, and barely promoting the event. Now, with his undefeated record technically intact, but his aura of invincibility broken, Davis has no option but to bring his best game. Anything less, and Roach Jr. might just finish what he started leaving the ring as the new WBA lightweight champion.
We literally saw the mental breakdown of Tank. Like, again, if you got that elite level Y, you know what you saw. He was intimidated by Roach, and it was like baffling to see. Why was he moving? Because to me, he was intimidated by Roach. To me,
it wouldn't be a Gervonta Davis fight without some controversy. The first clash between Davis and Roach Jr. wasn't just competitive, it was packed with questionable calls. The most talked about moment came in the 9th round, when Davis suddenly took a knee. Referee Steve Willis began a count, signaling a knockdown, but after a brief exchange with Davis, he unexpectedly stopped counting and let the fight go on. If the count had been completed, Roach Jr. would have secured a unanimous decision victory and walked away as the new champion. Instead, the bout stretched to the final bell and ended in a draw, an outcome that left Roach Jr. and his camp outraged.
About Tank, you can't count on Tank to get tired because his conditioning is out of this fucking world. He can fight 20, 30 rounds if he wants to. 12 rounds ain't shit. Tank can go. So, yeah, Lamont, he didn't do enough.
Roach Jr.'s team didn't hesitate to take action after the controversial fight. They quickly filed an appeal with the New York State Athletic Commission, arguing that Davis's knee should have been counted as a knockdown. While the commission admitted that referee Steve Willis had made an error, they ultimately decided not to change the official result. That decision only fueled the backlash, reinforcing the belief that the system favors high-profile fighters like Davis. Roach Jr. addressed the situation on social media, shutting down rumors that he was filing a lawsuit. "Let me make this clear, I didn't sue anybody. My team filed an appeal because they know what happened was wrong," he wrote. That statement made one thing crystal clear. Roach Jr. feels he was cheated, and he's more determined than ever heading into the rematch. In the first fight, he was seen as an underdog, expected to be just another name on Davis's record. But now, he's the fighter who pushed Davis to the edge, and this time, he's coming back to win it all. What are your thoughts on this situation? Let me know, and stay tuned for more updates.